welcome to the Pelvic Power Podcast. My name is Penny, and I am the host of this lovely space. I am a pelvic floor yoga teacher who teaches people with pelvic pain how to use movement, breathwork, and body awareness to ease and manage their pain while living a pleasurable life. In this space, we'll be talking about all things taboo because we love it, and how to support your lovely pelvis and your lovely self on this journey that you are on. I'm very happy that you are here, and I hope that you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Pelvic Power Podcast. I'm so happy that you are here today. So thank you for being here. Always a pleasure having you. Today, this episode is kind of inspired by an event that I went to this past weekend, but it's also kind of inspired by things that I've been working on for the past maybe 6 months. Things that I've been going through for the past 6 months. So, in the previous episode, we were talking a lot about working on yourself and how much fun that can be to learn things about yourself. But then also, moving on from that, what can you learn about your pain and your power from working on yourself, learning about yourself? This episode kind of started out as, when I thought about the episode, I was like, oh, this might be a little bit too out there. This might be a little bit too woo. I don't like using that term, but it's very me. And this is how I think about things. And I know that several of you are going to resonate with this as well. And it will be a disservice for me, for my part, to not talk about it. But also, the more I dove into it, it's not actually that woo, because it kind of makes sense, perhaps, maybe a little bit in the end. So, welcome. I'm happy that you are here. So, as you know, we are here because we live with pelvic pain. We live with pain in our beautiful pelvic bowl. And I believe that this part of our body houses a power, hence the Pelvic Power Podcast. And we're bringing it back to that today. So I've lived with some sort of pelvic pain since I was 15. Like, that's the first time that I realized that I had pain in my body. And when you're 15, you're very young. I was a dancer. I thought it was because I was a dancer. Of course, when you're a dancer, when you're doing gymnastics, when you're doing very intense activities, yes, you might get injuries and stuff like that. However, my pain started and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Like, I went to chiropractors, I went to physios, I saw personal trainers, I did all the things, and no one could understand what was actually wrong with me. So I had really intense low back pain. Really intense low back pain. And it wasn't until I started teaching yoga and specifically diving into pelvic floor yoga that I realized that, oh, okay, my low back pain is definitely connected to my pelvic floor, because it's all connected. I just had to make those dots, those connection points myself. This is why it's fun to work on yourself, to understand yourself better, to get to know yourself better. So I realized that my low back pain was connected to my pelvis. So technically, I have lived with pelvic pain since I was 15. I just didn't understand it. And then when I think back to what actually happened around that time of my life, what I was going through when I was 15, it was a hard time for me. We all grow up, we're all kids, we all have our families, and there are things that may happen in our family that affects us emotionally, physically, mentally, and it can get stored in the body. And bringing it back to, I believe that your pelvis is a powerhouse and you have so much power in your pelvis. What if, and was, this is where this episode idea came forth. What if your pain is actually your power that is dormant or numb? throughout this episode, I know that I'm gonna have a lot of ways to look at it and to think about it, and I hope that you can relate with some of those things and gain some knowledge about yourself along the way. So, what if your pain is calling for you to make a change, to do something different, to support yourself in a different way, to show up for yourself in a different way? What if your pain is something that you have been pushing down? It's beneath the surface. There's something in you, something that you are going through in your life. Maybe it's on your path, this life that we're on. You're here for a freaking purpose. I truly believe that, because how the fuck did we end up here? How did I specifically end up here creating this community out of something that is so vulnerable, so intimate? How did I end up here creating this podcast for you so that you can tune in? How did you end up in this space? How did you end up in my yoga class? How did you end up in the family that you did? I know. I am I can get very, like, life is just so potent, and no matter what you believe in, how you ended up here. You ended up here for a reason. And isn't that fucking epic? That was a side note right there. So, what if your pain is something that you are numbing on your life's path? The work that I've been doing for the past 6 months, give or take, when I do the really intense work with myself, whether that is somatic exercise, what if that is, or whether that is breath work, tremor work, whatever that may be, the really intense work that we can do. So I went to this event where we were singing and dancing and calling in what we want in our life, but also releasing what isn't feeling like in alignment, what feels icky. We were releasing that. And whenever I do this really intense work with myself, my pain becomes so potent. Like, my pain becomes so much worse in that specific moment. Like, I can feel my sacrum just aching. I can feel my low back. I can feel my LS. It's just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Because it's kind of like that power within me. I'm suppressing that power. I'm suppressing that power. I'm suppressing why I'm here, what I'm supposed to do. I'm suppressing myself, my most authentic self. My pain becomes so bad. At the very moment when I'm doing this work, my pain becomes so bad. But somewhere along that path, I'm lying there, maybe I'm doing tremor work, maybe I'm lying, I'm breathing. I feel the pain and I feel so uncomfortable. I reach into that pain. I let myself feel that pain. What am I experiencing in that very moment? Instead of suppressing it even more. I don't want the pain. I don't want the pain. The pain is bad. We don't want the pain. The pain isn't bad. The pain might be trying to tell you something about you. And the moment after I've done these sessions, the pain is gone. Like, I feel like there's this new air within me. Like, there's a new sense of me, of who I'm supposed to be, of why I'm here. Why the fuck am I making myself smaller? Why the fuck am I not showing up as my most authentic self? What am I so scared of? Life is so short. Like, all of these things are showing up for me. And that might be different for you when you're doing all of these practices. And also, when I teach my pelvic floor yoga classes, I'm just thinking about one specific student right now. She's been with me for years, and she's like, I really want to feel that release. I really want to feel that release. It took her about 3 years to actually feel that release. And that may have been because we're so scared of feeling the pain. We're so scared of feeling the bad that we're suppressing it even more. What if you allow yourself to feel the pain? What if you make space for yourself, a safe space where you feel like you can actually access that part of yourself that feels uncomfortable, that feels like out of your comfort zone, so that you can actually get to know your pain better, get to know yourself better, so that you can create a better relationship with your pain. Pain in your body is a sign that it needs attention. Your brain is sending a signal that a part of your body needs attention. Your pain is trying to protect you from something. What is it protecting you from? And if you are not on this journey with me right now, I I totally get it. I totally understand. But also I invite you to keep an open mind and stay with me for this. There are so many things about the body that we do not know. There's so many things about the human that we do not know, but there's also many things that we do know. And this is way too complex to just dive into in one episode, and I could not, for the life of me, explain it to you in one episode. But the pain is, or the body is so complex, pain is complex. A lot of the things that we're going through in life is often held in our body. Like you're not just we're complex human beings. And if you're going through whether those are past stories, traumas, all of that stays in your body. They create a holding pattern in your body, a protective pattern. Your pelvic floor holding on to tension, you clenching your jaw. Like I wake up every night and I continue to do this work with myself. I wake up every night, not every night, but or in the morning, and I am clenching my fists, holding my fists, clenching my jaw. I'm feeling so tight, and I know that my body's trying to protect me from something that I've gone through in my life. I'm holding on to something in my body. And this is why I like doing this work, because I want to support myself more, but also I find it so interesting to see what's under the surface. I want to know myself deeper. And everything that we're going through, that gets stored in the body, that gets stored in your fascia. You have fascia that runs through your entire body, around your muscles, underneath your skin. Everything is connected. Everything in your body is connected. For example, your fascia on the bottom of your feet, they're connected, or it's connected to your pelvic floor. Did you know that you can support your pelvic floor by rolling out your feet? You can support your pelvic floor by rolling out your feet because the fascia is connected. Did you also know that the fascia on the soles of your feet, your plantar fascia, runs through the entire back line, superficial back line of fascia to the top of your head? So if you ever want to roll out your feet, if you want to come to sessions, let me know. I have these in the membership. If you're rolling out your feet, if this is something that you want to try, then I invite you to first do a forward fold. You can do a forward fold. You can reach your arms above your head and notice how the arms, the length of the arms from the fingertip all the way down to the feet feel. Then you roll one side and you do that test again. Or you do a forward fold. And notice how the forward fold feels in between rolling both sides. Your fascia is very complex. When you have fascial imbalances in your body and you're rolling one part of your body, that is also pulling on another other part of your body. This is just a little side note here. I do invite you to start paying attention to do foam rolling, rolling out with little balls, soft, beautiful little balls to support your fascia. Because we store a lot of things in our fascia and a holding pattern, or in the holding pattern that we may have. Also, we can influence our fascia by the way that we tend to our nervous system. They are deeply connected, both of them. When I was talking about the clenching of the jaw, the fists, that is a nervous system response. So by rolling out the fascia, tending to the fascia, you're also tending to your nervous system. I feel like we got really off topic there for a moment, but also not really, because I want to give you tools that you can do to support yourself even better. Ways that you can support yourself more easily. But the thing is, we're always looking for an easy way out. And again, the body, you're so complex. Your body is so complex. But also, healing, working with your body, it doesn't always have to feel good. It doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always feel linear. As I was saying, when I'm doing these really intense practices, sometimes the pain feels so intense. And then afterwards, that may be a couple hours or a couple days, you're feeling a sense of relief. That doesn't always happen, but it does happen. But getting rid of the pain and looking for a really quick fix, I don't believe that that's even possible. Because you continue to go through life. You continue to go through stressful circumstances. You continue to go through things that are going to rub you the wrong way or make you feel a certain way. And all of that also gets stored in your body. All of that is probably also going to be affecting your pain. I can tell you right now that when I talk to certain people, my pain intensifies because my nervous system, I don't feel safe. I go into either fitting in mode or fawning. Like I want to please them. And straight away, I can feel that my pain is just like, nah, we do not want to do that. That's my pain protecting me. That's my pain telling me that, okay, something isn't right here. And if you're in this space, you probably felt the same way. And that goes back to the question that I asked you in the last episode or the episode before that. Cannot remember. But do you actually feel like your partner is aligned with you and where you want to go? What if you start looking at your pain as a portal? And this is where maybe the woo comes in a little bit, but also doesn't it make it more fun to look at it this way? What if your pain is a portal? What if life isn't supposed to look a certain way? What if you make your own life? I've spoken about this before too. Like we're out here, I could sit here, I could be sad that I have lichen sclerosis, which on some days I am. Don't get me wrong, I will continue to tell you this. My life isn't fucking perfect. I struggle, okay? But I do a lot of work because I want to be able to show up for myself in the best way possible and for you, for all my students, for this community. But I could sit in the pain, let the pain control me, or look at the pain as something that's a portal to something. What can I make out of this one life that I do have? Like, I truly believe that I came here for a reason, and I wouldn't be hosting this podcast if I didn't. I wouldn't be teaching yoga if I didn't. It all makes sense to me when I'm doing what I'm doing. Life doesn't have to look a certain way. Life can look the way that you want it to look. But sometimes it's easy to forget that because the pain receptors just become so loud. They become so loud. But what if we stop being scared of the pain and dive deeper into it so that we can get to know each other better? Like, I'm talking about me and the pain, or you and the pain. We can get to know each other better. But also, we're getting to know each other better now, which I really like. But I know the feeling because it can be scary. It's kind of like when you go to therapy. I go to therapy, I do MFR. No, I do not. MFR is what I teach. I do EMDR. Clearly, I have a hard time with just letters. When people spell something out to me, I'm like, whoa, 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 slow it down. It's going to take a while for me to get there. Anyway, I do EMDR. And you know when you're just feeling really good? Like right now, I'm feeling good. I'm coming off my period. I'm feeling great. If I were to go into therapy today, a part of me is like, oh, ooh, I don't really want to poke around because I feel good. I feel good right now. I don't want to poke around because I might feel worse. But also, isn't that living pretty shallowy? And yeah, sometimes it's nice to live shallowy. But again, life is too short to live shallowy. So, what can I learn from this experience? What if your pain is your power and it's waiting to be felt, heard, and seen? So, what are some things that you could do to do this? You can do breath work. You can do gentle practices like somatic exercises. There's a bunch online. Just type in somatic exercises on Instagram. Be patient with yourself because this takes work. You may feel it instantly, you may not. Be patient with yourself. You can do MFR, my fascia release practices. That's what I'm teaching in the membership. Come along, we would love to have you. Beautiful sessions. We always focus on different parts of the body. So, for example, tomorrow we're doing glutes. Those tend to be really tight, especially if you live with pelvic pain. Now, I'm going to say especially for everyone because we do a lot of sitting. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, you can see my posture right now. And I'm due for my 20-minute break. Or, as I always say, when you're working, if you tend to sit, set your alarm for 20 minutes, work for 20 minutes, get up, do some movement for 5 minutes. You can find some stuff of that on my Instagram and on my TikTok. But those are some things that you can do for yourself right now. Start to get into it. Like I do somatics exercises, I do tremor work, and sometimes it just takes a really long time to get into it. I was talking to my therapist about it, and I was like, sometimes I feel like I'm hitting a threshold and I can't really let myself feel it. And then that week when I was telling her that, like I can't get over the little hump to actually feel that release. That week we had a really intense EMDR session and I just fucking started laughing my ass off. And she said that's also a release. And that's so true. And then after that laugh, I started fucking bawling my eyes out because they're very close to each other in the nervous system. So just see where this journey takes you. What if you look at your pain as a portal instead of something that is there? Well, it is there to challenge you, but also instead of being scared of it, how can we dive into it a little bit more? But right now, I want to try something with you. So I invite you to just find a comfortable seat if you can. If you're driving, hit pause, come back to this later. But just find a comfortable seat. And you can either keep the eyes open or you can close down the eyes, whatever feel most comfortable and most safe to you. And then see if you can notice anything of discomfort in the body. So that may be pain. We're bringing the awareness to the pain. Notice how that part of your body feels. Does it feel achy, inflamed, closed off? Does it feel restricted? And I invite you to actually place your hand on top of that part of your body. And if you could just name this part of your body one word of how it's feeling right now, what word would that be? And then if you find another part of your body that feels the complete opposite to that part that you were just paying attention to. So that might just be your pinky finger or your forehead, something that feels the complete opposite. So it feels spacious, it feels open, it feels more light. And just let yourself settle into that part of your body, that part that feels a little bit lighter, a little less heavy. And take an inhale in through your nose and a big sigh. And then come back into the space. So you brought some attention to the part of your body that may feel a bit painful, achy, uncomfortable. Maybe it feels like it's not a part of your body. You invited in a body awareness practice here, getting to know that body, naming that part of your body, but then also landing in another part of your body that may feel a little bit more safe, a little bit more grounded. And this is a technique that you can do just to get to know yourself, your body a bit better, to bring awareness to that part of your body that might feel a little bit forgotten, because increasing your body awareness will also decrease your pain, but then also bringing awareness to a part of your body that feels good before you finish off the practice so that you feel more grounded. If you do this practice with me, would love to know how that made you feel, what you noticed in your body. And that is the end of this lovely podcast episode today. As always, I want to hear if you got any takeaways, if you got any pennyisms, a little bit of golden nuggets. I would love to hear about it. Until next time, remember to slow down. You don't have to do it all at once. There's no need to rush. Give yourself time and space to work on your healing. You're fabulous, you're fantastic, and I know that you can do this. I'll see you soon. Bye.